The United States just escalated the AI tech war with China. The United States-China trade dilemma is once again getting off the track. Following the bilateral talks in Switzerland and what appeared to be a relatively promising and positive outcome for now, both sides are again acknowledging that the trade truce is extremely fragile and could collapse at any given moment. The AI chip war just heated up again, and this time it is Huawei at the very center of a global tech firestorm. Just days after high-level trade talks in Geneva, the United States government dropped a new bombshell. It said that using Huawei's AI chips anywhere in the world could actually violate American export controls. Now, not surprisingly, China is quite uncomfortable, quite unhappy with this new revelation, and it has the right to be quite furious, to be completely honest. The future of US-China tech cooperation is now hanging by a thread once again. Now let's break this down. There's a lot to unpack, and I want to help make sense of what's going on and also what it means for the future US-China trade talks. Last week, the US Commerce Department issued fresh guidance about Huawei's Ascend AI chips. What was the original warning in that guidance? Well, the original warning was that using those chips anywhere in the world might actually breach US export rules, even if no American company was directly involved. Again, this is yet another excellent example of economic coercion of foreign sovereign actors who are absolutely free to do as they please in terms of trade, who they want to trade with, and what they want to trade, and also they're free to act in their best interest as they should. The same rule applies to any sovereign state in the world. The message was, of course, very clear. The United States wants Huawei out of the global AI ecosystem because it views it as a significant obstacle, perhaps even a threat. Well, why would that be, you would ask? Well, because these chips can be used to train and to deploy advanced AI models, an area Washington sees as critical to its national security. But instead of sanctioning foreign states, it could be far more productive and efficient to actually focus on our own domestic production. Just focus on what we do here domestically, focus on our country, while instead we are defaulting to bullying other nations. This is what effectively the warning represents. Shortly after releasing the statement, the Commerce Department actually quietly walked it back. But the damage had already been done, and the actual message was noted. Gone was the phrase anywhere in the world. Now the language says Huawei chips, quote, risk violating export rules, not that they automatically do. The new guidance, dated May the 13th, reads more like a warning than an outright ban, although the tone has adjusted to be more palatable to global powers, to global states. The message, you would agree with me, the message remains the same. The message hasn't changed. So therefore, the change wasn't really enough. That adjustment in tone wasn't really enough to cool things down after the release of that statement by Washington. On May the 19th, Beijing fired back. In a strongly worded statement, China's Commerce Ministry addressed the U.S. attempting to undermine the hard-won progress from recent trade talks in Geneva. China says that it negotiated in good faith and that this new guidance that was just issued by Washington actually violates consensus that was reached just days earlier, so you really can't make this up. What does China want? Well, it wants the US to, quote, correct its mistake. As of the time of this video, neither the United States Commerce Department nor the White House actually responded to China's concerns. This seems to be rather odd, you would agree, because the ball is in the United States Commerce Department's court. It started the new escalation, and now it seems to want to effectively gaslight China as it responds to the new escalation. This is bigger than just one company, of course. This is bigger than just Huawei's Huawei's Ascend chips that are part of China's push to build domestic AI capabilities. Naturally, Washington sees this as a threat, especially in the race for military, for commercial, and for cyber dominance in AI age. But instead of focusing on American manufacturing and on implementing policies, on creating really efficient and meaningful policies here domestically, actually implementing US policies to boost domestic capabilities, such as improving the education system, encouraging businesses here domestically to manufacture, to engage in R&D, and so on and so forth, Washington now defaults to threatening its economic competitor with more restrictions and consequences. Previously, sanctions and export restrictions, export controls have already hit Huawei's smartphones and 5G ambitions relatively hard. Now this new wave of restrictions that came from Washington could, of course, choke off their AI momentum too. And this is likely why China felt compelled to react within days. And while the Trump administration recently rolled back some Biden-era export rules, they've made one thing very, very clear, that they won't let China get its hands on cutting-edge AI tech. As you can already tell, the phrase anywhere in the world might be gone. Of course, they removed it, but its message still echoes loudly. It signals to companies and to governments worldwide, if you use Huawei AI chips, you might be taking a legal risk under US law. Needless to say, I'm sure that you would agree with me here too, that could spook foreign firms from working with Huawei, effectively isolating China's tech even without an outright ban. But is that really fair in a global environment where competition and market competition is what we need to boost innovation and to drive consumption, to drive businesses to engage in R&D, as I mentioned, and to also produce at an effective price point? Is that the approach that encourages global cooperation and trade? No, absolutely not. And this is why the global majority is ready to say now, look, we've had enough of your bullying. Sure, protectionism could be a useful tool, but perhaps you seem to be going too far with it, and we are ready to respond accordingly. It's also a test, of course, for Europe, India, and Southeast Asia. Do they side with Washington's tech embargo, or do they risk retaliation? Will Europe stand up for its economic sovereignty, or whatever's left of it anyway? That remains to be seen. So what might China do now? Beijing could double down on domestic chip development. It could increase subsidies to its producers, or it could, of course, retaliate against US firms that operate in China. It's also likely to raise this issue once again in the next round of diplomatic talks, and also use it to claim that the United States is actually acting in bad faith. But who would argue with that statement? For now, China calls the guidance a discriminatory measure, and it insists that even the revised US language is unacceptable. Whether this was a misstep or a deliberate escalation, one thing is very clear: the AI tech war is not cooling off anytime soon. In fact, it is escalating as we speak. AI is front and center as progress in this area will drive power and dominance in the future. And every chip, every line of code, every regulation is now a weapon in a much larger global struggle, the struggle for power. Let us know what you think in the comments below. I would love to hear your thoughts on this topic. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for joining me. I truly appreciate your time. I know you have many options, and I appreciate you being here. Please remember to show your support, like, subscribe, and share. It really means a lot. It goes a long way. And for more content, check out worldaffairsandcontext.com. It is my Substack, and I would love to see you all there. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you back here tomorrow with more videos and more updates. Bye for now.